You know, Pam, I've always been fascinated with the jobs that actors have before they're actors. Now, didn't you used to answer the telephone for a certain B-movie king?
Yes, I did, for Sam Markoff and the late Jack Nicholson at American and National Pictures, where I pitched them some stories that I ended up making, you know, yeah. Sure did. And I also I played music at a sports club where I met my first boyfriend, who was then Ferdinand Louis Alcindor Jr., and he played at UCLA. He became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then I also made potholders, and I was a seamstress. And I sang background vocals for Bobby Womack and Sly Stone.
Oh.
Yeah, and I met Buddy Miles and Inwalk Jimi Hendrix. I couldn't even sing a note. I was like, oh, my idol, Jimi Hendrix, you know.
Well, when you were working at the movie company, was that a really great place to make contacts and learn about the business?
Oh, pretty much. You could eavesdrop on phone calls and deals and stuff, you know, and network yourself. But that was, I had like 5 jobs, because when I came up from Colorado, I was a pre-med dropout and I needed to go to film school, and I was an out-of-state student, so therefore the tuition was extremely high, and I'd have to live there 2 years to become a resident. So I'd, you know, go to school part-time, network, meet the industry, and work 6 jobs, you know, just to make $30 a week. So my first job was with Roger Corman. He thought I had a really in-your-face attitude that the other actresses didn't have. They were too, you know, homogenized from too many acting classes. He wanted raw and country, realism. And so he's the one that really convinced me to be an actor. I said, but no, I really want to be a cinematographer. My first movie was Godzilla. When I saw that rubber tail swatting buildings, that's what I want to do. That's animation. That's what and when I saw 101 Dalmatians, which was Godzilla was my first movie, and the Dalmatians was my second. That was it. That was it.
Well, you mentioned Roger Corman, of course, you know, the king of low-budget films. When you started your movies, a lot of those movies didn't have exactly like the largest budgets in the world.
Right,
you know, what kind of corners did they have to cut sometimes?
Well, you'd see one person doing 3 jobs because it was non-union, and that's how you really learned your trade, to figure out what you really wanted to do. And working for Roger right out of grad school was, you know, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and then came Jack Nicholson, and everybody was trying, Jonathan Demme, everybody was hanging out with Roger, because that's how they were really honing their skills and supporting themselves while they were writing their first screenplays right out of USC Film School. So Roger is a huge supporter. He is phenomenal. He's such an impetus. He's such a person that, you know, got so many creative people, you know, and brought them in the industry, and they are where they are today. I mean, you can just go back to Roger Corman, you know, and I'm one of them. And hopefully I still have another 20 years where I'll get my shot at doing the big blockbuster, you know, the big action movie.
You know, I got a question about the Coffy, Foxy Brown days. Who did you think that you got enough respect for those films from Hollywood?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We had the top crews, materials, film, camera, down to the old Cinemobile. That was the first vehicle that carried the crew on top and all the technical materials underneath. And when a film costs $650,000 to make and it grosses $20 million, yeah, you get respect. And then Foxy Brown made another 20-some million. And then, you know, yeah, I got plenty of respect, and everyone was coming to me. I met some of the finest filmmakers and producers then who are still my allies today, and like, well, Pam, what do we need to do today to keep that box office going, you know. So, and they know that I've honed my skills as a filmmaker and actor, and they can entrust me in coming up with viable commercial projects.
You know, I got a question about Kurt Russell. I grew up watching Kurt Russell. I remember going to see the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. Imagine you were the same, you saw those movies. When you're acting opposite him and he has the eye patch on, are you flashing back to those old Disney films?
Yes, I am, to his little cute dimple and his cute self. But yeah, I do that, and then I get back into my work because Goldie's watching me, and you can't flirt with Kurt. You can't even look at his butt from just, you got to see where Goldie is first, you know. She over my shoulder. Oh, now look, you know, because he's got this great butt, and he's fine, you know, stupid fine. But, you know, I just wanted to do the work because I needed to give him the energy to work off his former partner, Carjack Malone, who was his bud in the hood, who is now a woman, and to get him off guard and create more dramatic tension in the story. So I really wanted to do the work for him, to give him something to work off of.